back to Frost River Modelers. In this installment we're going to start a new series where we're going to take a look at the fun that can be had with the Arduino. And so in this installment we're just going to take a brief survey of the boards and the hardware and a quick look at how you write the software, how the programs work. And in later installments we'll go more into depth and show you some actual applications and some ways that I'm using these on my layout and how they actually work. So hopefully this will be an informative and entertaining series and be a nice complement to the regular layout updates. So let's get going. What is an Arduino? This is an Arduino here. This is the Arduino Uno. It's kind of the basic version. Basically, it's a little board with a microcontroller on it, power supply, a USB connector, and these two rows of connectors here which have power and ground and pins that you can hook up pretty much anything you like. Sensors, motor controls, switches, buttons, all kinds of different things, and you can program this thing using a very easy to use programming system on the computer to do all kinds of things. So along with the Arduino are a series of what are known as shields. And here's an example of a shield. This is a very basic prototyping shield. And all this has on it is, just some space for circuits you can add. It's got the headers. It's got a pot knob and a couple of LEDs and a button. So you can create something. You notice it has these pins here that match up with the headers on the Arduino board. So you can just snap this thing right on top. And assuming the pins aren't bent, of course they are because I'm recording, just snaps right on like that, right on top. And now you've added whatever this capability is to the basic Arduino Uno board. There's a couple of different versions. Actually, there's several different versions of the Arduino. We have the Uno, which is kind of the core unit. This is the Mega, the Big Daddy. The Mega has a lot more inputs and output pins. It has more memory and a little bit faster processor. So Big Daddy here. And then you also have these little tiny ones like this one. This is the Arduino Pro Mini. Very, very cheap. I think I bought these for like $2 or $3. Has basically the same processing power as the Uno, but just a little bit fewer inputs and outputs, and of course a much smaller size. And because it's so much smaller, you can't use the shields with it. So it's nice for adding into some custom projects. I'll show you one in just a minute. I'll show you a couple of the different shields that are available. Probably the one of most basic interest is the motor shield. I have two different ones here. This shield is made by a company called Pololu, and it's a very popular one. It can power 2 DC motors or 1 stepper motor. And I've added this little dongle here so that I can connect up a 12-volt power supply to it. And here's another example. This one is made by SparkFun, and it's basically the same functionally. It can power 2 DC motors or one stepper motor. It uses a different driver chip, and so there's a little different power capabilities. The Pololu board, I think, it's a little higher power capacity than the SparkFun board. Again, basically they work the same way though. You can just line the pins up and snap it on, and now my Arduino has motor control. That's kind of the idea how this is supposed to work. A few other examples. Here's an Ethernet shield. This one allows you to connect your device to the Ethernet to your home network and communicate with it. Here's a Wi-Fi version if you don't want to have wires. And here's a pretty interesting one. This is a relay shield, And this just has 4 big fat relays. These will control, if you believe the spec sheet, these will control 8 amps at 30 volts DC. So that's kind of the idea. There's a lot of these different ones. There's sensor shields and shields for using cell phone networks, and shields for detecting temperature and pressure, and for controlling a lot of different things. There's a wide variety of them out there, and of course you can use a prototype shield like this one to build your own circuits on. When you're using the Pro Mini, though, you have to kind of do your own thing, and this is what I did here. I built this little board to mount my Arduino Pro Mini on. This is a stepper motor driver that I got from SparkFun. This board is going to control the gate on my layout that covers the branch line where it crosses the main line to keep branch line trains from interfering with mainline traffic. So there'll be 2 buttons mounted on the fascia that'll be connected to this Arduino, and when you press the button, it will drive a motor that will turn the gate and open it or close it, depending on how the button is pressed. So I just got the Arduino here, programmed it. It's got the driver, and then I added screw terminals for all the different connections for the buttons, for the motor, and so on. So this is the kind of thing you can do with that. Here's another interesting use. This is my other Arduino Mega that I have, and it has, upside down, a 2x16 LCD display on it, and a set of buttons down here at the bottom. And so now you can have a user interface, and I have a couple of different uses for this. I am working on a weighing scale design where the operator will be able to read the weight of the cars as they pass over the scale on the display. And I'm also working on a small shelf layout that'll be an Inglenook switching game, and I have created a throttle that uses the display and the buttons for direction and speed for that shelf layout. Speaking of which, one of the most interesting things to come around lately is a program called DCC++. Now this is a open source, so freely available and freely modifiable code that uses a Arduino and a motor shield, which I intend to use this one, to create an NMRA compliant DCC command station and booster for very little cost, and it's not commercial. It's freely available code and everything. Design is freely usable, and you can modify it any way you like. So this is actually how I'm going to power the shelf layout with the display. I'm also going to experiment with powering my home layout with this, with Frost River, see how well that works out. This particular board is the one I'm going to start out with. It's a 3 amp motor driver board, so with a big enough power supply, this will do about the equivalent power supply as a Digitrax Zephyr. And I have a second larger motor board that I'm going to swap in. Should allow up to 12 amps of power. So that's a really interesting thing. We'll go into some more detail on DCC++ later on, and see how that works, and show you that. So this is the Arduino, at least the hardware side of things. I will also show you the software side of things separately, and we'll talk about that. But it's very fun to play with. It's an easy way to learn electronics and to learn how to program things, learn software programming. It's very simple, and if you want to get your feet wet and learn about this stuff and experiment with it, this is a great platform to do that experimenting with. So I guess that about wraps it up for episode 1 here of my survey into the Arduino and how we're going to use it on the model railroad. plan to have a number more of these episodes where we'll get into some details about what you can do with the Arduino, how to program it, how to connect different things to it, sensors and motors and so on, and give you a very good idea of how you can use this and maybe take away some of the mystery and fear of it so that you can find ways to use an Arduino on your layout and in your modeling and have some fun with the electronics that can go along with model railroads. So thank you for sticking with me through this long episode, and I look forward to seeing you next time. So till then, bye-bye.